Yep, another trout fishing video, because that's all that fly fishing is. Hey, I'm Ben. I'm a huge fly fisherman, and today we're going to talk about tailwaters. Tailwater is a term that you've probably heard. If you don't know what it means or know much about tailwaters, I'm going to teach you. If you're a seasoned tailwater vet, go get your emotional support bug sane because I'm going to make fun of you. All right, so what is a tailwater? It's a fly shop in Dallas that has a bar. Tell Sean I said hello next time you're in there. But also, a tailwater is a section of river immediately below a dam. Specifically, a bottom draw dam where the water comes from the bottom of the dam and not over the top. It's a simple definition. A tailwater is a river below a dam. In the fishing world, tailwaters are known for producing lots of fish and lots of big fish. Well, why is that? It's because tailwaters provide a stable and nutrient-rich environment that produces a lot of food to grow big trout. Tailwaters are stable. The flows can fluctuate some because of power generation from the dam or something like that, but generally the flows are fairly consistent and provide a stable environment. Also, the outflow from the dam is always the same temperature and it's always cold. Trout thrive in cold water, and if it's cold all the time, even better. So, stable, cold water. But also that water has a lot of nutrients in it from the lake above that help make the river more productive. What those nutrients are, I'm not exactly sure. For once, I actually did some research on a video before making it, and everything just says nutrients. Maybe someone smart can help explain further what those nutrients really are. But whatever. Cold, stable water with lots of nutrients equals food for the trout. Think of a tailwater you might know. Is it weedy? A lot of them are. Know it lives in those weeds? Trout food. Or if your tailwater isn't weedy, I bet there are some rocks. Know it lives in those rocks? Trout food. Lots of it. So there you go. Tailwaters have a stable environment with lots of food. That equals lots of big trout. Now let's talk about fishing tailwaters, because it ain't the same as freestones or other types of rivers. It's techie. Well, what does that mean? It means small flies, small tippets, precise drifts, and specific fly patterns. Well, why is it technical fishing? Small flies because most of the bugs that live in tailwaters are small. Techie fishing because the fish get a lot of pressure from anglers and they get smart. Have you ever seen a fish move out of the way of your split shot when they see it coming? That's something that tailwater fish do. They know what split shot is and what it means. Now let's talk about keying in. I hate that term, but I will admit that it does come into play, especially on tailwaters. Keying in is when trout are eating a very specific type of bug or even a specific stage of that insect's life cycle. Like they're only eating the emergers and not the nymphs or duns. This is when the concept of matching the hatch comes into play, and dorks just love to puff their chest out, like they've cracked some kind of code and outsmarted an animal with a brain the size of a sow bug. Anyway, tailwater fish really do key in on things, which can make them tough to catch. But have fun with it. There's almost nothing more enjoyable in fly fishing for me than posting up on a pod of techie risers and catching them all with a royal wolf. That's how I like to fish. It doesn't always work, but when it does, it's awesome. Stream etiquette standards can be skewed on tailwaters. Where I like to fish, if you're within 100 yards of me, you're too close. On some tailwaters, fishing 20 feet away from another angler is considered normal. Is it considered fun? That's up to you. So I said fishing tailwaters can get pretty big, but that doesn't mean that they fight hard. A lot of them are used to being caught a few times a day and they know that they'll be released. So they just roll over and you get to reel in a wet sock. Cool. Oh, and after you unhook your wet sock, you can remove the 6 other flies and pieces of tippet that are hanging off it somewhere. Seriously, man, tailwater fish are really abused sometimes. Tailwaters don't freeze. That consistently cold water that's so nice for trout in the summertime is actually warm enough that in the winter, the tailwater below a dam is always open. So if you're a trout fisherman on Hoth, you can fish all winter long. It's way fun. Frozen boogers, getting out of the water every 5 minutes to warm up, tying knots with your claw fingers. Super fun stuff. Let's finish up here by talking about tailwater fishermen. There's definitely a subset of fly anglers that only fish tailwaters. the nerdiest of the nerds. They have every gadget that's ever been sold for helping you catch a fish. Tailwater anglers are absolutely rocking a vest, probably a wading staff, and studded boots because they think that their river is the only one that's slippery. It's really like greased bowling balls, I tell ya. Tailwater anglers take pride in fishing smaller flies than anyone else. They use tippet that comes in half sizes. They count the thread wraps on their midges. If you talk to them on the water, they'll find a way in the first 10 seconds to tell you that they've been fishing here for 20 years. They might even have a few favorite fish that they've caught a bunch of times and named. I mean, who does that? Naming fish? So stupid. See you later, Cappuccino. Listen, I could talk about tailwaters all day, but some of my favorite rivers are tailwaters. It's good fishing. And if you want to learn about trout fishing, they're a great classroom. And they attract a lot of people, so they're not fishing where I want to fish. Tailwaters are great. But I think we've talked enough about tailwaters for one day, and you're probably done pooping, so let's wrap it up. Thanks as always for watching another one of my huge fly fisherman videos. I will be back as soon as I can with another video about fly fishing for you. Until then, stay out of my fishing hole and stay huge. There was this one time, I don't know, it was probably around like 2000 or something, long time ago, before any social media. We're on a very well-known tailwater near Aspen, Colorado, let's just put it that way. And this dude out of nowhere comes up to me and my friends and starts talking to us. And throughout the conversation, he brought out from his vest a stack of photos with all of the big fish that he had caught from there. And he showed us all of his big pictures. They were great big fish, great big fish. Showed us all of his pictures. And then as we were saying goodbye or whatever, he gave us one of his business cards. It wasn't for his business or guide service or anything. It was just, this is who I am. and I like to fish this tailwater. If you want to see pictures of my big fish, come tap on my shoulder. I don't know. Tailwater fisherman, for sure.